steep. Very steep. As I said this hike that we're doing today is rather steep. And here we go. Today we're hiking the Sipapu Bridge hike in Natural Bridges National Monument. The morning was brisk and cold when we decided to hike to one of Natural Bridges' most stunning features, Sipapu Bridge.
Change in approximately 0.2 miles, 40 feet elevation change in approximately 220 feet of elevation change in 0.2. Wow, that's gonna suck.
Yep, that's why she said this was the worst.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also the first one, so she's like, they do get better. They all have up and down. She's like, it's not that they don't have up and down, but this is the one that's got the ladder apparently. So he's got the 2 ladders on the bottom. So, see, what do you think of the canyon?
Good, but it's hard.
I know, but it's gonna be fine. You know why? Because you've done strenuous stuff before, and you're an adventurous 6-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you heard us right about that elevation gain. On this hike, it is going to be a killer. Now, depending on what source you look at, the elevation gain can be different. On the National Park website, it says that it's only 436. According to the sign we just showed you, it's 500 feet. Now, according to Gaia, which we trust a lot on our adventures, it's actually 662 feet. And trust me, I'm pretty sure it was 662 because I felt every inch of that coming up. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. As you start this hike, as you can see, you're actually going to be starting on a sandstone ridge. Now, if it snowed recently, there's ice on this trail, I don't recommend doing this trail at all. However, for us, we got really lucky. It was really a nice cold fall day when we took this hike, and it was nice and clear. There was no moisture or mud or anything like that. However, descending into this canyon, you do want to be quite bundled up because there is no sunshine once you get down below if you start early like we did. As you can see, the view from the top here is quite epic. You want to take your time and really enjoy this hike. So as you continue, there's some markers along the trail to keep you on the correct area of the slick rock. Please follow these and don't go off trail because you could get quite lost if you didn't know where you were going. Following the markers, you quickly turn kind of onto this little narrow ledge onto the slick rock. It's not too terrible, but if you do have small children, make sure to hold their hands in this section. Everett was behind me holding Dane's hand for this section just because it is a little bit off camber. It's not too terrible, but you know, it is slick rock and you could slide and hit and go down to the canyon where you don't want to be. You'll just kind of be following for a while these kind of switchbacks that are going to take you down the canyon as you go. Once you complete your first major set of switchbacks, which is only a couple, you finally get to this nice little even section to kind of give yourself a break from going downhill so much. Now take your time here and appreciate the view because soon you'll be on this little area of slick rock that has an amazing view of the canyon below that you will be descending into. And what you don't realize here is you're actually standing in an area where Sipapu Bridge is actually underneath you. You can't really see it from the angle on this slick rock. However, it is kind of curved underneath there, and once you realize where it is when you're hiking down, you'll be like, oh doy, it was right there. You just can't see it from certain angles or certain lights, but it is pretty cool if you do notice it. Once you've taken your break on top of the slick rock and the canyon view below, you will quickly come to the actual descent into the canyon. So this part, if it's icy, you're going to want to take time and take your footing. It does have nice handrails. However, if you're afraid of heights, the grates are see-through. So just keep that in mind if you just don't look down if that's not your thing. They're really easy to walk down, as you can see. Everett's using both hands here and being careful and making sure that he's watching his footing as he goes around these trees and boulders. But as you walk down, this actually is a pretty little easy descent. The hardest part is still coming up. The most important thing on this hike, and I cannot stress it enough, is to just take your time and mind your footing. Weather conditions, slick rock, and different elements can make this hike rather difficult, and as we stated, it is a strenuous hike, and so be mindful and do take your time. It's not a race. After completing the stairs, you'll walk along this canyon wall for a little bit before coming to the most difficult part, which honestly, this part is easier than the part down below. But this is your first obstacle, which is a descending ladder. So we'll see how this goes.
No, you're good.
I'm watching.
All right.
How you doing?
Yep. All right.
Okay. That's at the bottom.
You fall, I will catch you. You, I will be waiting.
We would let Dane continue, but we don't want a copyright strike. Ha ha ha. But please be mindful if you do have small children on this hike, you probably want to have one above and one below to help the children. So if your kids aren't comfortable with climbing a ladder by themselves, this is not the hike for you. Get scared, let us know, okay?
He's fine.
I'm not a scary cat.
I want to get a picture of that ladder.
Cat.
Look at that ladder up there.
Is that a Dustin scaredy cat?
It's true, it's true. Everett's a very good hiker, huh?
I'm not even scared to look at it.
He actually does better than I do.
You gotta help him with tricks.
For the YouTube record, my child is a better hiker than I am. He is great at hiking. I am a terrible hiker, and he is not afraid of cliffs or edges. I am terrified. Actually, to the point of I get petrified and I don't like going on things. So for the record, my child is a great hiker, in case you're wondering. After you do the descent with the ladder, you will soon get to this nice kind of forested area hidden in the canyon. You are quickly making your descent down toward Sipapu Bridge viewpoint. This area is a really nice little area to hike in. Even if you were here in the summer, this would be a nice retreat from the desert heat. There are several rocks to traverse, and if you mind your footing, most people shouldn't have issues with this section. There is a little sand, but it's not too deep, so you don't have to worry about getting sand in your shoes or having to do the 2 steps forward, 1 step back thing. After walking for a little bit, you will get to a decision point. You will either need to descend into the canyon to go underneath Sipapu Bridge, or you can go this way, which is the way we started, and you can go to the Sipapu Bridge viewpoint. And honestly, if you're not into making the steep ascent out of the canyon, this is probably your best option for getting a really great view of Sipapu Bridge. As you can see there, it's pretty nice, but once you get to the viewpoint, you'll actually get a little bit of a better view than from here. Just be mindful that you are on a slick rock edge. This isn't really, it's pretty wide, it's not really too narrow, but just be mindful of your footing in case you slip. On your way back from the viewpoint, don't forget to not look at the canyon view, but actually look on your right. When we were walking in, we totally were oblivious that this was right there. And this is very frequently in this canyon, you'll find a lot of Native American ancient Puebloan structures or granaries. If you look through the shadows, there's a nice old building sitting there. This is probably an old granary, most likely, but if you walk past it, you don't even notice it because you're focusing so much on Sipapu Bridge and the viewpoint that this is kind of tucked away in the corner. Make sure to stop and appreciate it and take a look. It's kind of cool that it's just kind of just sitting there, just like, hey, I'm just here in the corner, minding my own business. That's cool. I didn't. I was focusing on the bridge.
I saw that on the way down.
I'm sure I saw it. I just didn't see it. It didn't click. It looked like a pile of rocks to me for a minute. After the viewpoint, you can either turn around and go back up the canyon for a really short hike, or you can continue down into the canyon to get to the base of Sipapu Bridge. Now this part is very strenuous when you're coming back out, so please be mindful. If you don't want to walk all the way back up all of these switchbacks, you might want to take a different route and just go to the viewpoint and not do the entire hike. So, because we like apparently early morning punishment, we're going to do the entire hike and we're going to take you along down this canyon. And oh my goodness, I will tell you that it feels very, very long by the time you're done. If you're familiar with any hiking in the state of Utah or Colorado or any national parks or monuments, you know that a lot of times there's going to be switchbacks, and this hike is not any different. As you can see here, this is going to be a lot of switchbacks to get all the way down into the base of the canyon underneath the bridge. As you can see here, you can use the wall on the side to steady yourself as you go down. It is rather steep, as I've mentioned many, many times in this video, but just take your time kind of going and navigating some of these rocks, and make sure to look up occasionally from time to time to see the cool view of the canyon as you descend. Once you complete the millions of switchbacks that you have to do, you come to this amazing viewpoint, and honestly, I think this is the best viewpoint you have of Sipapu Bridge. Now please be aware, if you continue past that second viewpoint, you'll be in for a very steep descent in this section. This is considered the hardest part of the trail besides the ascent back out of the canyon. As you can see, these poles are here for a reason. Use them to keep your footing. And as you can see, the camera isn't probably showing it very well, but this is very, very steep, and you will be using several ladders and several poles to make your descent into the canyon to get officially to the bottom of the hike. As you can see here, if you have small children, you're gonna want to be mindful and watching them at all times. Dane was standing in front to make sure that he was in front of Everett in case he fell so that he could catch him if he needed to. Also, the handrails are very helpful for children. We do recommend having them hold on to them and always maintain some contact. As you can see here, this is your first ladder of 2 in this bottom that you'll be descending. It is very steep, and you're going to want to maintain those points of contact. After that section, you quickly make it to another part that has some handrails for you to walk down with. This part is a little easier. That the first ladder coming down is very, very steep. These are a little bit better, and after doing that first one, these seem like almost cakewalk for walking down. They're not really an issue. Just mind your footing so you don't slip between the rails.
Ow! What's my motivation? Go.
I don't have motivation.
Well, then you shouldn't be doing this. Grab here. You take your left foot. You can see where you're going. Here. And right foot. Left foot. When you get here, you should have 3 points of contact at all times. See? Did you learn something?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm capable of learning.
This is the shortest of the ladders. You still couldn't get it right.
Jerk.
What?
I'm shorter than you. My legs do not reach as far.
Yeah, but when you come down to the edge, and you put your left foot on, I demonstrated the proper way. Yeah, no problem. Yay, we made it. Let's go home.
We have made it down to Sipapu Bridge. What does the man think of the hike so far, considering we have to go all the way back up? How are you feeling?
Super excited. 220 feet, then 240 feet. No big deal. Woo! It'll be fun.
We'll make sure to check in midway. So we're going to check in midway. We're going to enjoy the bridge for a little bit. If you are ambitious, though, you can continue on to the other bridges, but you still have to come back this way because unless you bring 2 cars, I don't think you would want to walk back on the road. But anywho, we're going to enjoy the bridge for a little bit, and then we will start the climb.
After enjoying the bridge, we quickly began our climb out of the canyon. However, on the way up, we noticed some granaries on the other side from where we were hiking. So make sure when you're hiking this hike to take a second and look at all the canyon walls, and maybe you'll spot these granaries as well.
So we have made it up this section, and it's time for a mini break.
I've been waiting for 5 minutes.
Liar.
Lie.
But that, just right there, is very steep. The camera never shows it.
Here, I was like, here, already step here.
But the good news is you get a good view of the bridge itself while you catch your breath. Whew. Steep. Very steep. How is the hike so far, man?
1747.
1747, huh?
Apparently. Good.
So once you get past the steep sandstone, it's kind of just an uphill hiking trail. Kind of like what we should going down. It's just when you're going up.
Takes twice as long.
Takes twice as long. Take breaks. It's okay to take breaks. We all are not Superman and Superwoman, so we're taking breaks. So we finally made it back to the view area cutoff where you can pick which way you're going first. And that wasn't so bad. How many minutes did it take us?
21, 22. 22.
So 22 minutes from the bottom of the bridge all the way up the hill. Physical condition, we are slow, average to slow. So if you're fit, you can probably make it faster than that. But that's taking a few breaks here and there to get to that point. Now we get the other ascent to get to the parking area. Here we go.
As you work back the way you came up the trail, you'll get a different perspective of the canyon. Make sure to appreciate it as you're walking, even though, if you're like us, you'll be huffing and puffing the entire way. Huff, puff, as we like to say. But soon, we'll get done with the steps and check in with you.
How were the steps?
Great.
Great. How were the steps,
Very
Everett?
master.
As you can see, child has ample energy.
Shortly after the steps, you'll get to go back up the first ladder. And as you can see, if you're like me and Everett, going up is pretty easy.
Why would you do this?
Because you look impressive.
I can't go up my natural.
And he's wearing gloves because it's cold. So we made it back.
500 feet of elevation gain in 0.8 of a mile.
So that was Sipapu Natural Bridge. What do you think of it?
It's great if you want to do 500 feet of elevation gain in 0.8 of a mile. So not so bad going in, coming out. Right there.
Yes, so it was quite steep, but it is really cool at the bottom. I would say that.
It is, but if you stop and overlook it, halfway and you get just as good a view, I think.
It's true. And definitely take a look out for watch out for the granaries. Those are kind of cool. They're kind of a nice, pleasant surprise. So overall, what does Everett think? What do you think? You liked it. He had a ton of energy on this hike. Let's see if he still keeps up his energy for the future hikes.
Next time on Legendary Trails, we take you on a quick little overlook hike in Natural Bridges National Monument and see some spectacular ruins. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you're not caught up on all of our adventures, you should click on the suggested videos. We hope to see you out on the trail soon. Bye for now.